Hello everyone, my name is Juliana, and as part of my student presentation for this semester on the Web Front-End Development 1 course, I would like to share some of my thoughts about web accessibility and its importance while developing websites. And first of all, I want to share the inspiration behind my choice. Like many students, I enjoyed learning about the fundamental principles of effective design in the second week of this semester. And in one of my favorite external links led to the dev.to website. Just website where we can learn 8 different design principles. And the first one was, web accessibility. After reading the paragraphs, I scrolled down to the comment section, and to my surprise, there was a comment adverting the website's authors to pay attention to their way of applying accessibility principles. The comment begins with, love everything except your odd descriptions. They need to describe what the content of the image is in context. Copying the heading text to the image just results in duplication for people who use a screen reader. And if you take a look at the HTML file, you see that the odd description really says only accessibility right here. This comment section helped me realize that having an accessible website takes effort and goes way beyond having an organized web page. So let's talk about it, right? I think it would be interesting to start with a simple question. What is accessibility? After a quick search, I came across a great definition shared for the crighthere.com website. This website has been in operation for almost 22 years, and it has the purpose of pursue information equity for people with disabilities by transforming content, researching new technologies, and providing education for clients across industries. Their definition of accessibility is simple but complete. It says accessibility is the practice of making information activities and/or environments sensible, meaningful, and usable for as many people as possible. In our world, having an accessible environment means considering the accessible entrance to buildings, for example, railings, ramps, self-operating doors, elevators, signs, and even the steps of a staircase. In fact, it's all about equity, just like the image illustrates. And okay, so far we talked about accessibility in a general context, but what about a web context? So basically, we apply the same ideas. A web page should allow everyone to interact, perceive, understand, and navigate in order to contribute. But how do we do that? Let's see some practical ways of implementing these principles. Let's start with the topic that called my attention to this subject, text alternatives. They tell the screen reader that an image exists but can't be ignored. So going back to the comment section I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the person who wrote about the alt description continued saying, number one, if you believe that the image adds nothing to the article, leave the alt attribute empty, as this marks the image as decorative. And number two, describe the image as if you were explaining the article to someone over the phone, just enough idea to get an idea of the image without explaining minute details. So what this person is trying to say is that instead of an alt text with the image title, we can make it accessible by describing it. So we would write something as accessible entry sign on a graffiti covered wall, for example. And another principle to be applied is to use good color contrast. So everyone, including those with color blindness, can read your content and understand any visual information we have on our websites. You can reach to the Wave Web Accessibility Evaluation tool and type your link there to check for errors. And to have a better perspective, click on the details and address the errors, one by one. This tool is excellent to take a look at other possible errors too, such as, broken links. And the way we display our text content and keep cohesiveness is also extremely important. Everything from headings to paragraphs has to have a readable font size, an understandable font type, and a good color contrast between the background and the text. A good example of this principle can be found on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints website. As you can see here, we have a clear heading and organized paragraphs, and it is comfortable for reading. But I think we can see the true importance of having organized and cohesive text when we take a look at a not so good example. The Pacific Northwest X-ray website. Okay, so let's analyze some things about this web page. The first thing we can notice is this blue gradient behind the content. So I have no trouble reading it right now, but it gets very, very difficult when I'm down my classes, for example. So instead of gradients, try to use solid colors. It's also important to avoid blinking and flashing content. According to the W3C, content that blinks or flashes more than 3 times in a second can trigger seizures, and of course we don't want that. So when I shared my personal experience viewing this website without my classes, reminded me of something I learned while studying web accessibility. Like me, maybe you thought web accessibility only concerned people with auditory, visual, and neurological disabilities, when in fact it is deeper than that. Web accessibility should benefit people without disabilities too. And I am going to give you some examples. An accessible website is concerned about the experience of all different age groups. So we can place, for example, our navigational links and pages in a way most people would expect. Coming back to the church website, we can see it has some icons indicating order pages and functions. We may also consider people using a slow internet connection. So images are the largest contributors to overall page size, so you have to consider images that are no larger than needed at their maximum size on their page. So a better example of that is my last assignment for an introductory web development course. The website's hero has an oversized image, so it takes some time to load, even with a good connection. And to fix that, there are some available websites where we can upload our images and resize them, such as this website right here. So I think to summarize our experience so far, I like to share the W3C perspective on web accessibility. It says, the web is fundamentally designed to work for all people, wherever their hardware, software, language, location, or ability. When the web meets this goal, it is accessible to people with a diverse ranging of hearing, movement, sign, and cognitive ability. It seems a lot to implement in our websites, but if we think about it, we are already doing some of these things. So I invite you to take an extra look at your current projects and make them accessible to everyone. And thank you so much for watching. I would be happy to hear some of your ideas about this topic. So yeah, that's it. Bye.